मंच पर आसीन चंपनानंद मिश्र जी, परम आदरणीय देवी सहाय पांडे जी, तरुण जी, पंकज जी और इस सभागार में उपस्थित विराजमान संत समाज और श्री माँ श्री तरोबिंद के भक्तगण। हिंदी मेरा मातृभाषा नहीं है, तो तब भी मैं थोड़ा हिंदी थोड़ा इंग्लिश में मैं कोशिश करूँगा। श्री अरविंद को मैंने किस रूप में समझा, 2-4 महान व्यक्तियों का लेख से मैं लेख आप लोगों का सामने प्रस्तुत करूंगा और मैंने किस रूप से मैंने समझा, मेरा जो पर्सनल जो व्यक्तिगत अनुभव है मैं आप लोगों का सामने उपस्थापन करने के लिए कोशिश करूंगा। Neither am I a scholar. Let me first declare, neither am I a scholar, nor do I possess scholarship. I have a sense of offering anything and everything at the lotus feet of the Supreme Divine Mother, and this sense of surrender is the sole source of my strength and audacity. First, I would like to express my infinite gratitude to Sri Aurobindo and the Mother for their boundless grace and blessings. I am also grateful to all Orissa Sri Aurobindo Study Circle Committee for providing me with this opportunity to participate in this significant seminar. I would like to share my perspective on the significance of the teachings of Sri Aurobindo in the context of India's rebirth, quoting a few insightful lines from some of India's great thinkers. One such luminary is Sitaram Goel, one of the finest and legendary thinkers of our country. His writings have long resonated me, and I would like to share an excerpt that has stayed with me since my early college days. But before that, let me utter a pronouncement. We are Hindus seeking to re-Hinduize society. We are Hindus and seeking to re-Hinduize society, not to Europeanize it. Who could say this thing? We are Hindus seeking to re-Hinduize society, not to Europeanize it. Yes, it was said by none other than Maharishi Sri Aurobindo himself. But then what is Hindu Dharma? We are Hindus and necessarily spiritual in our temperament. Because the work which we have to do for humanity is a work which no other nation can accomplish. And what was that work? The spiritualization of the race. So the men whom we worship are those who have helped the spiritual progress of mankind. And now, let me quote the excerpts of Sitaram Goel, one of the legendary thinkers of our country, late Sitaram Goel, which has stayed with me since my early college days. He says, the partition of Bengal converted Bankim Chandra's Bande Mataram into a mantra, by reciting which our people scaled the highest heights of courage and sacrifice. Then he says, but what made that brief episode important in the history of our fight for freedom was the emergence of another great seer and sage, that was Sri Aurobindo. He shot like a meteor across the political sky and soon retired into a self-chosen seclusion in search of new vision and victories. But the trail he blazed in the realm of India's spirituality and culture yet holds the promise of a still more dazzling dawn. Sri Aurobindo this is the very important sentence he wrote, Sri Aurobindo confirmed and completed the ideological work undertaken by his predecessors Maharishi Dayananda, Bankim Chandra and Swami Vivekananda. The national vision now became a vision which had fully awakened to Sanatana Dharma in all its dimensions. It was the ancient Vedic vision at its highest and best. Sri Aurobindo's insight into India's inheritance, spiritual, philosophical, cultural, artistic, social and political, went very far in restoring our people's legitimate pride in their great past. He was very soon hailed as the prophet of Indian nationalism. According to Gurudev Rabindranath, who was Sri Aurobindo, he was the voice incarnation of nation soul. Swadesh Atma ki Bani Murti. India will speak through his voice only, voice incarnation of nation soul. According to Barrister Chittaranjan Das, Deshabandhu Chittaranjan Das, who was Sri Aurobindo, he was the prophet of nationalism, poet of patriotism, and the lover of humanity. And last, let me quote Sri Aurobindo's one excerpt from his Magnus Opus on Indian culture, and this is the last paragraph of this Magnum Opus. And with this quote, I will conclude my brief lecture. Sri Aurobindo wrote more than 100 years ago, India of the ages is not dead. India of the ages is not dead. Nor has she spoken her last creative word. She lives and has still something to do for herself and the human peoples. And that which must seek now to awake is not an anglicized Oriental people, docile pupil of the West, and doomed to repeat the cycle of the Occident's success and failure. But still the ancient immemorable Shakti recovering her deepest self, lifting her head higher towards the supreme source of light and strength, and turning to discover the complete meaning and a vaster form of her dharma. And therefore, in Uttarpara Bhashan, he said, and let me quote this and conclude. He says, I spoke once before with this force in me, and I said then that this movement is not a political movement, and that nationalism is not politics, but a religion, a creed, a faith. I say it again today, but I put it in another way. I say no longer that nationalism is a creed, a religion, a faith. I say that it is this Sanatana Dharma which is for us nationalism. This Hindu nation was born with the Sanatana Dharma. With it moves, and with it grows. When the Sanatana Dharma declines, then the nation declines. And if the Sanatana Dharma were capable of perishing, with the Sanatana Dharma it would perish. The Sanatana Dharma, that is nationalism. This is the message that I have to speak to you. So, according to Kavi Guru, he was the voice incarnation of nation soul, and India will continue to speak through the voices of Sri Aurobindo. With my immense gratitude to Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, let me conclude with these few words. Thank you. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर, आपने श्री अरविंद ने जो सनातन धर्म के बारे में जो रियलाइज़ किया, जो कहा, उसको हम सबके सामने व्यक्त किया। सनातन का मतलब होता है जो हमेशा से हो, जैसे हमारे बीच शब्द होता है पुरातन, मतलब जो प्राचीन काल से, अद्यतन जो आधुनिक हो, ऐसे ही शब्द है सनातन। सना उपसर्ग, सना माने होता है सर्वकालेषु, हर समय में, और तनु विस्तारे, तन माने तनु विस्तारे, जो हर समय में, हर काल में, सर्वत्र विस्तारित होता रहे, वही हमारा सनातन धर्म है। आत्मा को भी सनातन कहते हैं, भगवान को भी सनातन कहते हैं। गीता में भगवान की स्तुति में कहा गया है, सनातनस्तुम पुरुषो मतो में, तुम अव्ययः शाश्वत धर्म गोप्ता सनातनस्तुम पुरुषो मतो में। तो यही श्री अरविंद का दृष्टिकोण था कि जो सनातन तत्व है, ये हिंदू संस्कृति ने, हिंदू जाति ने उसको संरक्षित रखा है, इन सनातन तत्वों को, इसीलिए हिंदू धर्म को सनातन धर्म कहते हैं। तो धन्यवाद सर। अब जिसका हमें प्रतीक्षा है, हमारे बीच आज के कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता कर रहे बहुत ही विद्वान, वेदों के मर्मज्ञ, जिन्होंने चारों भाष्य का हिंदी में भाष्य किया है, हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं पंडित देवी सहाय पांडे जी। उनसे विनम्र अनुरोध रहेगा, वहीं बैठे रहिए सर, बैठे रहिए। उनसे विनम्र अनुरोध रहेगा कि वे अपने अध्यक्षीय अवरोधन द्वारा हमें अपना आशीष प्रदान करें।